have always been drawn to the mystique and eeriness of abandoned amusement parks. I grew up in Dartmouth, a coastal town in southeastern Massachusetts. And here, along Route 6, lies the remains of what was once known as Lincoln Park. The park opened in 1894 and through the years became the premier amusement park of southeastern Massachusetts. During its heyday, the park was always filled with thousands of patrons, most of whom rode the trolley in from nearby cities like New Bedford and Fall River. Lincoln Park was also a favorite stopping point for people traveling to and from Cape Cod via Route 6 during the years before the construction of Interstate 195. Unfortunately, I was not born in time to experience Lincoln Park in its prime. I was born in the 1980s, the decade in which so many classic amusement parks would meet their doom. My recollections of the park are faint at best. In those days, being so young, I spent all of my time in Kiddieland. Clouded memories of attractions like the car ride are the only things I remember about the old park. I was only 4 years old when Lincoln Park closed for good in 1987. In the years to follow, my family and I would spend an occasional day at Rocky Point Amusement Park in Warwick, Rhode Island. My memories there are much more vivid than those of Lincoln Park, as I frequented Rocky Point until the mid-1990s. Rocky Point, however, would eventually suffer the same fate as Lincoln Park. The park closed in 1996 and has quickly deteriorated into a vandalized wasteland. Here in Dartmouth, virtually nothing remains of Lincoln Park, as most of the main attractions were either auctioned off or destroyed by fires. The Comet, Lincoln Park's old wooden roller coaster, stands alone in the vacant lot. Its coat of white paint has chipped and faded away as the classic ride falls into further decay. 17 years have passed since trains of cars have screamed down these tracks, and I cannot help but wonder when the old structure will be demolished. Next to the Comet is what is left of Lincoln Park's 18-hole miniature golf course. The old putting greens are hardly recognizable, as the area has become a stamping ground for local paintball enthusiasts. The rest of the park's landscape is littered with a few concession stands. Somehow, the old buildings have dodged the ever-present risk of arson. My only real connection to the park occurs on my rare visits to Heritage Cove and Fall River. There, in a white building overlooking Battleship, Massachusetts and the Taunton River, one can ride the Lincoln Park Carousel, as the citizens of Fall River raised over $250,000 to salvage and restore the old ride. After the closings of Lincoln Park and Rocky Point, I was unaware of any more abandoned parks in the region. Yet all of that would change during my freshman year at Fitchburg State College in Massachusetts. During my first days at the school, I had decided to go for a drive and see the surrounding area. And sure enough, not far from the campus in Lunenburg sat the lifeless remains of WhalomPark, which closed the year before my arrival at Fitchburg State. The situation at Whalom is a lot different than that of Lincoln Park or Rocky Point. The park has only been closed for 4 years, as its last day of operation was in the fall of 2000.